Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Kendall. Welcome to another episode of The Thread. Today we're gonna do something a little bit fun and different. I'm going to be reading and reacting to some Reddit horror stories, one in particular for this episode. So this is actually kind of the Reddit story that started it all, that really spurred me into action in terms of starting this channel. This woman, I'm going to explain the whole thing, but this woman spent $100,000 to start her brand with no sales, and it's just, I mean, everything went wrong. And we're gonna go over what I think she did wrong. We're gonna go over some of the advice in the comments that she got that are good and some bad advice in my opinion. So thank you for joining me and let's dive into it. Welcome guys, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, my name is Kendall and I'm a former mentor for people starting their fashion brands from scratch. I owned my own small business for about 7 years and I'm a Parsons fashion design graduate. So yeah, today we are diving into this very painful to read Reddit thread, but it's also very interesting and I think it's going to be really helpful for people. And this is really what, like I said, made me kind of take action on starting this channel, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people out there getting taken advantage of that don't know how to start a fashion brand. Of course, you're not born knowing how to do this stuff, but I feel like I can help in this arena. So let's go through some of the advice that she got, the good and the bad. And I'm gonna post this kind of on the side if you wanna read along. But if you wanna go here yourself and kind of explore all the comments, the subreddit is called Small Business. And if you look up advice for a failing women's fashion brand, that is the post that I'm talking about. And this subreddit is really interesting in general. I go on here all the time and I just like to, you know, see what people are asking and what they talk about. Okay, so let me read you this. I got my tea, I'm ready to go. All right, so advice for a failing women's fashion brand. Question. Went from working in the medical field to starting a petite fashion brand, aka zero fashion experience. Everything learned was from a fashion course. I wonder what it was. Took almost 2 years from start to finish. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Design concept, finding a manufacturer, fabric selection, sampling, product development / manufacturing, etc. And I am approximately $100,000 into this now. Yikes. Launch May 6th, I'm assuming she launched last May, and it's been crickets. I built so much anticipation on my Instagram and post daily. I hop on stories multiple times a day. I also use TikTok, Pinterest, and Facebook. I've run ads on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. My email list is 1,000. That's really amazing actually for when you first start. And I also do email marketing. Okay, so this is telling me that her marketing is not the issue. Her audience and her following is not the issue. I have products on Google Merchant. I've reached out to influencers and even celebrity stylists. Recently set up B2B business model to target local boutiques about doing wholesale, because at this point I need to move this inventory. I also have $8,000 worth of jeans that my manufacturers messed up, miscommunication issue. Ugh. And I tried to convert into something else, but it didn't work, so I will donate to charity. Oh my God, $8,000. It feels like everything that could have gone wrong has, and now I have no funds to continue. Can you please look at my website and socials and perhaps offer some more advice on what the issue is? My pieces are for women under 5'3", made with premium fabrics. Okay, so her niche is petite clothing. So we're gonna see what she offers. There is definitely a demand for this, but every other small petite brand I speak with is dealing with no sales. Maybe there isn't a market like we thought. So she gives her Instagram, it's at Shop Petite Culture, and the website is petiteculture.com. Now, I was really planning to kind of put this website up so we could talk about it, not to put her on blast, not to criticize her, but just as like a learning experience. But I went to the website and it points to something else now that seems I don't really get it. It doesn't point to anything. It looks like a bunch of viruses or something. And also I couldn't find her Instagram either. So I think this was a few months ago, and yeah, this was actually 8 months ago. So I think at this point she closed up, which is very sad. But I don't blame her for cutting her losses, and I'll tell you why. So when I first read this, I did go to her website, so I was able to see what she had. So her offerings were about 4 different styles of petite things, but the problem that I saw right away, first of all, the website didn't look great. The prices were a little high for what the website looked like, which was kind of homegrown. And the petite clothing wasn't really anything special. It was like, okay, it wasn't really for petite people specifically. It's like just clothing anyone could wear. So I think if I remember correctly, she had like a wrap dress. They were pretty cute. They were cute things. She had like some kind of a wrap dress. Why does that need to be for a petite person? She had a 2-piece. She had like a cute little top. Oh, sorry, my microphone. And then a skirt. Also not specifically anything for petite people solving a problem. I don't really get that. She had some pants that were like these sailor pants that didn't seem very modern. And then she had something else. I think it was another dress. But looking through this, I was like, what is special about these? What is she doing? What problem is there? What problem is there even to solve? So that is kind of describing it for you guys. So right away, I didn't really get it. Okay. So this just goes to show that I really think that the problem was in the foundational stage. And this is why I'm like, I got to talk about this. I got to start this channel, because she had not even, I don't think she did like much market research, to be honest, because she would have found that petite, in my opinion, and other people said this in the comments, petite clothing is not a niche. It doesn't need to be like a special market. Now there are brands that offer petite styles, like Eileen Fisher. I used to work there, and they had like a petite line, but all that was different, you guys, was that the sleeves were a little tiny bit shorter. The hem was a little shorter. The waist, I think, on pants was a little bit lower, because if you're super, super petite, you might have like a shorter torso. But even then, that's not really a big deal, because high-rise pants are in. So like, what's the problem? So in my opinion, there was no market. I really do think that. Now, if she had gone out and really polled a bunch of people, like maybe she found a Facebook group for petite people and everybody was complaining, oh, I can't find clothing for myself. I don't think that's an issue. My hairstylist, I got my hair cut last week. She's definitely under 5 feet. She's probably 4'10" or 4'11". She's so tiny, so petite. She just shops at like PacSun and places with like teen clothing, and she wears normal clothing, just like smaller sizes. And she always looks adorable. She doesn't need a whole brand that is just for petite people. So I don't really see where the problem was. And I would bet you money that she did not do enough market research to, go forth confidently saying, okay, there is a big hole in the market here. Everyone that I've talked to in person, I've polled people, I've gone on forums, everyone who's really petite is saying that they can't find this, and I'm going to step in and offer this. I bet you anything that she did not do that, and that there was no market to begin with. And that is the very foundation, right? The next foundation, of course, is your customers. Are people really wanting this? And who would want this? Okay, so the customers here, I don't think she had any type of customer, because the styles, I wish I could show them to you guys. The styles were all over the place. They weren't really cohesive. I mean, they were cute. They were kind of feminine, but I wouldn't say they were all for one customer. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't really make sense. There wasn't a strong point of view, I would say. So those were the problems I noticed. And if you don't have a good idea to begin with, and you don't have a customer base that is going to want what you sell, you're never going to take off. It's just not going to happen. Add to that, you don't have a strong online presence. Well, she seemed to have Instagram followers. I'm not sure how she got those. She seemed to have a very strong email list. I'm not sure how she went about that. That's good. So there was some interest. So that tells me maybe there was some interest, but they wanted something that she wasn't delivering. And maybe when they saw what she was offering, nobody was excited about it. And that comes down to really offering something, really knowing your market and knowing what people need. Okay, so I wanted to read my comment here. Okay, so I said, I feel your pain. I disclosed my clothing brand after almost 7 years. Started to struggle after the pandemic. I've also coached lots of people starting their brands, and I can tell you it's rough out there at the moment. You have to have a lot of capital to develop excellent products, but then enough to survive for the first few years, continuing to launch new products and get your name out there while possibly losing money. The fact that you have already spent $100,000 just to launch your first collection makes me feel like you either produced way too much inventory or someone took advantage of you. Unfortunately, lots of people brand new to the industry get taken advantage of by these all-in-one development places. I'd love to know what happened to you if you want to tell me. The thing I tell people starting a brand nowadays, and it's more important than it was a few years ago, is you have to have a very specific niche/focus. Think of the thing you do better than anyone else or what you want to be known for. A really strong idea of who your customer is, and your website, your customer experience in general, has to look amazing. Unfortunately, people don't support small brands like they used to get excited about doing. I guess the pull to shop at Amazon is too strong, and nothing about your products, photos, website, or social media can look homegrown. I personally think your main problem is that petite sizing is just not a niche or a big enough problem that there needs to be a whole clothing line for it. I say this because I've seen people try to launch petite clothing lines before, and I've never seen them get a ton of traction. Because most petite people can just buy smaller sizes, and some clothing lines like Eileen Fisher and many more specifically offer petite sizes. Also, even if this is a niche that you can make work, I don't see how the dresses and skirt set are in any way solving a problem that petite people have. I think you have done the very common thing I see people do, which is that you're making things you want to make and that you want to wear without solving an actual problem that people have. If you had, say, polled 1,000 petite people and 85 of them say, hey, I can never find a clothing brand that has XYZ, and then you research XYZ and come up with a new idea that can help you solve that problem, then you've got a unique marketable idea that you already have proof of having an audience for. I hope that makes sense. This may have been a big loss for you, but consider what you've learned, what you can salvage, and how you can maybe pivot. I think the customer and solving the problem for them is the place to start. Good luck, and I'd love to hear how it goes. Now, she replied when I asked what happened, and she said, definitely both happened. For taking advantage of by a full package manufacturer and produced way too much inventory. This happens all the time, and maybe I'll do a video about this, but these full service development houses take advantage of people all the time. You need to be really careful. I did 50 counts of each, but this also included 2 inseam lengths for trousers and also jeans that didn't even sell, so approximately 400 plus pieces. Yikes. She did start small though with production. It sounds like she tried to do about 50 per style, so that's good. So like, where did all this other money get spent? I surveyed approximately 200 petite women prior to this, and you're correct. Top issues were jeans, trousers, dresses, skirts, and then jumpsuits. Okay, I could see that. So I tried to create those, but I created pieces I wanted as opposed to what people actually need. Okay, this is good to have the self-reflection. That's very important. I want to switch to elevated basics, focus on pants to begin moving forward, and hopefully with a new manufacturer and lower price point, but that's if I can even gather the funds to continue. So I think she's getting from all these comments that, maybe pants are the thing to focus on. I would scrape it and start with market research, start with something totally new. So let's go through some of these other comments here. I'm 5'2", so I have lots of experience searching for petite fashion. In all honesty, your prices are extremely high for what you're offering. I also find that with petite clothing, trousers are the toughest and what I usually opt for a petite brand for, yet you're only offering one pair of trousers. I can usually adapt or pull off other garments even if they're not petite, but trousers not so much. So that could be worth expanding your range. So this is a really good thing that it's a good piece of insight that she should have gotten up front if she had actually talked to petite people with issues. So this petite person, 5'2", pretty petite, she's saying she has problem finding pants. I would delve more into that. What about it? Are they too long? Are they too long in the torso? Like, what's the problem? And then, so maybe that would have been a good route to go for, is just doing pants, or just doing jeans, just doing denim, and expand from there, really offer something that somebody actually wants, like a real person. And her pants were not modern. I don't understand it. They were like a low-rise sailor pant. I haven't seen those in like 15 years at least. Okay, here's another one. To be honest, your website doesn't have a high quality presentation as the price tag. For that price, that there either must be a subconscious understanding of the high quality and luxurious feel of the product or explicitly stated. True. And the lack of options did not go with the website theme, using minimal and mostly empty space on a site that can convene, I think she meant convey, more of an artistic custom product. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Also, I would say the info of each product was too much. If there's an understanding that the quality of the product material is high, there's no need to write too much about it. I don't know if I agree with that. I think product descriptions, the more you offer, the better, but it does need to be concise and very explicit. Luckily, AI is here. You can get help writing a beautiful copy that really sells your product. But I agree that the website did not have the level of quality of the website did not match the prices. Like I've said in previous videos, the higher your prices are, the more high quality your website and the whole experience needs to be. Same with anything like your social media presence, anything online, because it needs to get people to, in their minds, like, know, and trust you enough to spend that money. And if your website looks like crap, people are not going to be into that. Okay, here's another comment. I really liked this one. Okay. I'm not sure why everyone is encouraging you to do more with influencer marketing, SEO website, more clothing designs, etc. Exactly. Don't do more. It's too late for that. $100,000 in 2 years in and sales are slow. You seriously need to consider winding this business down or stop all additional spending. Your finances seem out of control. Yeah. When bootstrapping a fashion brand, you have to start slow and develop a strong understanding of your customer and the market. Thank you. This includes actual sales to customers for cold, hard cash. Yes. You can't just rely on your aunt saying, oh, I'm going to buy this. And, your friend saying, this is a great idea. You need actual, pre-sales if you can, or people committing like, yes, I would actually buy this. Preferably people you don't know saying like, yes, this is exciting to me. I would buy this. Too many people spending money on overseas production, websites, logos, ads without even making a single sale. Yes. It sounds like she spent too much money after the fact marketing, which of course you have to do, but she didn't have a solid product to begin with. The better way is to get a few samples made locally or by yourself and see if you can sell them. Friends, family, farmers market, boutique, pop-ups, eBay, Poshmark, etc. If you can't sell one, then stop. I like this advice. If you get traction, only then do you do a small production run. Creating custom designs, tech packs, working with overseas manufacturers, you're doing everything on super hard mode. For significantly less money, you could have flown to China, visited a textile center, found pre-made white label items that meet your criteria and branded them yourself. Well, not everybody wants to do that, right? Whoever is giving you advice is taking advantage of you. Yes. Do not buy more ads. Do not pay influencers. Do not even buy more products. Try to sell what you have and stop spending. I totally agree with this one. Here's some other advice. Are the 6 products listed here literally all you sell? If so, that's nowhere near enough. Also, if I can be brutally honest, considering your products appear to be made out of cheap synthetic materials, they're too expensive. I don't think they're too expensive. Hello, you just need to up level, elevate your experience to match the prices. No way would I pay $135 for a skirt made of rayon. Silk, yes, but maybe, but rayon, no way. That's cheap material, not worthy of triple digits. That's not true. Rayon can be really, really nice. You really need to, this is why you need a good photo shoot. You need to show it in a beautiful way that really elevates the product. You need to talk about rayon, how it's a plant-based material. You need to talk about how it can be really beautiful and maybe doesn't need the level of care that silk does. That's a really good selling point for people. You just have to talk about it in a way that makes people see what a good material it can be and that it's worth the price. And again, show it in an amazing light. Oh, and then she linked something. This viscose t-shirt, she linked it, is 12 pounds, $15. So it's probably made in the sweatshop. I understand being a small business, you're going to charge more as your costs will be higher, but you still outsource to a poor country. Okay, maybe she didn't. I actually didn't check where it was made. And you're charging designer brand department store prices, often home country made, for high street quality clothes. I don't think $135 for a skirt is that insane, but yeah, if she's getting it made in a sweatshop overseas, I don't know. I didn't dive into that at the time, and now I can't look at the website. A lot of people don't know how to price things correctly, and maybe that's something I'll do my next video about. Okay, so I thought overall that comment was not the best. I don't think this person has experience in fashion. They just have experience as a consumer. I don't think the solution here would be to add more products. Is 6 products literally all you sell? So what? If you're offering 6 products and they're amazing and they're delivering to your customer what they want, that's completely fine. You could sell 1 freaking product, okay? So as long as you do it well, that's fine. So don't listen to that advice. Okay, I had to sit down because my feet were falling asleep. Okay, I have a few more comments to share. I think you should invest in other models. It helps depersonalize, and customers can relate to who they're seeing. Try 2 to 3 petite models with different skin tones and body types. While I do think that's good advice, I don't think that's the key to like turning this ship around, okay? It's too late for that. Okay, here's another one. Hi, I am the tech expert for a company. We sell over $4 million a month in clothing and have been working in fashion since 2008. I'm gonna be brutal, but for your own good, it's okay to get angry if you learn something for this. This is what happened to you. You have money and wanted to do something. Got that course that made you feel that with hard work and their guidance, you were gonna launch a successful fashion store brand. This is why I don't try to sell you on a dream, because I really want to be realistic. I want to encourage you that you can do this, but I would never in a million years try to convince anybody that they should spend $100,000 to launch their brand and be successful. They told you to pick a niche. You did. It was too broad. To pick a factory, to hire people. You've been following their expert advice and paying along the way. Am I right? After that, you have been going over and over the fabrics, the colors, and the look to make it perfect according to yourself. The website, the videos, the pictures, the models, the retouching over and over, making sure everything is perfect and everyone around you following along everything you say because they're being paid. That's why you're down $100,000. How's my guess so far? You should be making a killing already, she says. Here's the bad part. First, that is not a niche. 410 is not a niche. That is just an extra small. A niche is plus size clothing for very cold states, or midget sport clothing, or fashionable work clothing with a Hispanic twist. Do you see the difference? There's a difference between I make clothing that I want to wear versus I make clothing other people want to wear. One makes money, others do not. This is so true, and I've seen this a million times. And this is what I've been talking about in some of my foundational videos. You can't make this about you. You have to take yourself out of it and make it for a customer that you're helping and solving a problem for. If it's about you, it's not really going to make sense. Second, 6 pieces. I know what happened. After you design them, you could afford a certain number of each to be made. Your project manager said that was okay. Sigh, you need a new collection every season, like 50 to 100 pieces every season, 200 to 400 pieces a year. No. Maybe when you get larger, you can do that many. But this, she said up top that they sell 4 million in clothing a year. I'm guessing this is some kind of a big fast fashion brand. Those are the types of customers that they sell to. And these are the types of customers that are constantly wanting new things. Yes, you should be releasing something every season, but when you first start, it does not need to be that many, trust. Okay, third, the factory I see in your comments about the ethical, women-owned, etc., glorious factory, girl, is China. There's no ethics and no women's rights and all that. I'm sure if you go over there, you will find a sweatshop and underage kids sewing. OMG, they are overcharging you. Yes, that's probably true. What to do? Okay. You sell your designs to bigger companies. Okay, so I guess that's an option at this point. Find pre-made pieces and personalize them. That's something you could do. That's not everybody's dream though. Sometimes you want to design your own things and have them made. So I wouldn't take that advice personally. Last option, and the hardest, make and sell your own clothing. Take the previous step, find 50 to 100 pieces per season and customize them to your liking. But then again, as the first point I made before, make clothing other people want to wear. You can't just make extra small stuff. I mean, you can, but it's not right. So I like most of that. She's coming from a little bit of a different market and niche than, I kind of promote here on this channel, but I think she had a lot of good insight into the fashion industry and what needs to happen. Okay, and last comment I'll read because I thought this was a really good one. She says, 5'2" brand strategist / designer here, agreeing with all the above comments that you need clarity on your target demographic. You should really get super specific on who they are, who your competitors are, what your audience's problems are, and how your clothing solves these problems. Make 3 different personas of your buyers, do research, and give them a story with problems to solve, and keep them in mind when you're creating marketing. Yes. Make your website copy all about them and the problems you solve. Absolutely. I heard other commenters saying it looked like a vanity project because it's like all about you. It doesn't even talk about petite women. It's like hard to discern that it's even for petite women or that there's even a niche. Once you get extremely clear on your audience and messaging, I'd look into micro-influencers whose audience is your exact demographic. Right, but you have to get clear on your audience first, of course. Giving product to influencers is pointless if their audience isn't your target demographic. Visually, the brand doesn't have anything that makes it memorable compared to every other brand on social media. And that alone wouldn't make me invest in expensive garments. With more people opening drop shipping businesses, I'm extremely skeptical to buy online for fear of getting swindled. Unless a business looks extremely polished, has testimonials and reviews, and an item that is extremely niche and solves a problem. She gets it. I agree that getting models / diversity would help since the photos of the same person give off influencers vibes and not an established business. I hope none of this is too harsh. You genuinely have a great start, and business owner to business owner getting started is so tough. Something that helped me is learning marketing and not just social media. Learning how to market and sell is what's going to push your business forward. With a few tweaks, I feel like you have what it takes and an idea to be successful, so don't give up. I don't know if I agree that she has the groundwork laid to be successful. She needs to go back and take a harder look at the product she's offering, the whole vibe of the website, the whole understanding the market, making it look high quality for the prices she's offering. I think those are the overall problems, and just she actually needs to get with some petite people to genuinely explore if this is a niche or if this is just something she wants to do because she wants a brand. I mean, when you start exploring this, and I'll link my video on market research up here, but when you start exploring this, you need to go in with an open mind. Okay, this may not be the best idea, but it might be. So you need to really be open when you're exploring that and researching. Okay guys, so I hope that this was fun for you guys. I hope it was interesting. If you like this, leave me a comment and we can do more of these. I think it's great to kind of get, people's problems and people's challenges they encounter, because it could happen to you one day. And we also need to realize that setting up a solid foundation is the key to everything. So let me know how you like this, and like and subscribe. It really helps me a ton. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.